Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Opinions Matter, and just wanted to wish you guys a very happy new year. This year we have tested out a lot of products, and we are going to test some other products also. And just before I begin, I just wanted to say everybody that wish you everybody a prosperous new year, a happy new year from the channel. And yes, we are going to do some videos today, and today we are going to do for the first time a comparison of the Osmo Pocket versus a traditional DSLR. And this video will let you guys know that whether the Osmo Pocket is worth a penny or you should keep your good old DSLR. Now, why is this so? Because a lot of us might not invest on big DSLRs like I'm using right now. I'm using a Canon 80D with a Sigma 1770 contemporary lens. Now let's go and check it out. What are the results? At first is easeability of use. So watch this, how easy it is to use the Osmo Pocket. Okay, easeability of use, watch this. That's it. I take out the DJI Osmo Pocket. Easeability of use of a Canon DSLR or any DSLR setup is like this. So let me show you how hard it is to put this whole setup and how much time it takes, real time, okay? No editing. Whew. God, this is hard. And then when you take out the Gorilla Pod, you have to look for your camera. So you look out for your camera while you're crossing, and then you have to screw in this one on this thing. So that's your step number 2. I got my lens attached already, so that lets me a little bit of time. Then to get a perfect audio, you need to take out the microphone. You need to screw in the microphone again. So as you can see, I'm screwing in the microphone, putting it into the microphone jack. Settings, I'm going to keep it auto for like simple use, and then you turn it on, turn on everything, turn on the camera, and then you take out the cap, and now you're ready. So side by side you'll be seeing that I'm walking around in the shadows, and though this is a 3-axis gimbal, the other one is not. We will check out how the shadows work on both of them. Okay, so shadows on both of them, holding the cameras like this, and varied angles, so we can actually flow down the angle and bringing the angle forward. So these are 2 cameras, and test between these 2 cameras. Okay, so that is the audio from the Osmo, and this is with a whole setup. Okay, totally automatic settings, how a DSLR adjusts to bright sunlight. So as you can see, I'm walking through shades and sunlights again. Don't look into me, look into my background, and see whether you can see details or not. Again, don't look at me, look at the background. This is the biggest problem, that whenever we see YouTube videos, we look into the person who is talking but not in the backgrounds. So look into the background and check whether you see details or not, and how this Canon 80D is adjusting to different sort of sunlight and shades automatically at an auto mode. Now let's switch to DJI Osmo Pocket. Okay, in this video also the same thing, guys. Just check on the sides because I'm walking through broad sunlight. Don't look at me, look into the background. Okay, now what you guys gonna do is that you're gonna look into me again and check the background whether it autofocuses properly or not, because when you go through bright sunlight, it usually focuses very good, but sometimes when you go into like shades or anything, it will try to adjust the camera. So as you can see that it tries to adjust what is that called, the camera's angle and everything. So again, we are going to do the same like the same kind of stuff. So what we are going to do is we are going to walk into the shades. So manually adjusting the camera to ISO 800 and shutter speed 400, I do not get mixed in the background, and that is an option that you get in a DSLR. So in darker backgrounds, when you are on shade or anything, and you are having info shoot or you're doing a vlogging or anything, as you can see, it's a little bit darker in the background. it doesn't loses autofocus at all. So that is the power of a DSLR, because you can manually adjust the lighting condition and check out the exposure on it. Now let's go back to Osmo Pocket. So the Osmo Pocket is a contrast detect sensor camera. It doesn't have any phase detect, and I wore darker clothes just to show you whether the contrast detect AF actually loses focus or not. So this is just by using the auto white balance, because you cannot tweak any sort of white balance on it. So the background is pretty much darker, and sometimes you will see it tries to adjust the white balance, tries to do weird stuff, which I think not a big deal, but might be a big deal for a lot of creators. So if you think that this actually affects the quality, which I literally do not think affects at any sort, I'm pretty sure that this is pretty awesome. You know, like I do not need to do any sort of like tweaking and stuff like that. So as you can see, I have actually zip tied this on the top pole right now. In this way, we have got dark on this side, light on this side, and I'm going to see autofocusing how it works when I'm wearing darker outfit and coming from a dark zone to a lighter zone. Okay, so this is face track test 1. I'm trying to move from lighter to dark, and I don't know whether it keeps autofocused or not. So for this test, I've just wore a white shirt so that whenever I'm going to a darker background, it can still track me. So what's this? It active tracks me whenever I'm wearing a brighter cloth, and even at this distance, it keeps me tracked all the time, just because this is contrast detect autofocus, in which it will detect the brighter and the lighter background. So light foreground, dark background, it has no problem. But when there is darker foreground like these clothes, and you are going to a darker background, it will face problems in focusing and in metering and all that stuff. So I mean, this is a small problem, and I'm also going to show you other stuff about AF. That's my next episode, so watch closely the next episode also if you want to understand how to autofocus properly on an Osmo Pocket. Alright guys, so this is again an autofocus test only. I've kept everything in auto. I do not do any manual adjustment or anything, just to compare between the Osmo Pocket and this one. So look carefully in the autofocus. Okay, so I'm out of the frame. Came down in the frame and it focuses. Okay, now I'll go out of the frame again. Walk back into the frame and the Canon 80D focuses. Now I'm going to go from the back. I will try to come into the lighter area. Okay, so watch. And the Canon 80D focuses again. So lighter to darker background, darker to lighter background doesn't affect the Canon 80D. Now watch with brighter clothes if it tracks or not. Okay. Alrighty, so this is wearing a white shirt, not mixing with the background. I'll try to come in fast. So spot on autofocus again. So that's autofocus number 1 from darker to light, and now then we'll suddenly pop into the frame wearing a whiter or wearing a lighter kind of clothes, and then the phase detect turns on and it focuses on me. Now if I'm having light coming from this side, it will also focus on me, but the moment I put on darker clothes, Osmo Pocket more or less loses autofocus. This is the reason you guys need to believe in something called phase detect autofocus and contrast detect autofocus. Every DSLR is equipped with phase detect autofocus system, while Osmo Pocket does not have phase detect autofocus system. Very controversial thing, but also a very, very funny thing, if you guys notice properly, is that in their whole advertisement, they did not show anybody who is wearing darker kind of clothes in a darker background. So this is a very important point. Alrighty guys, so I think this is kind of a wrap up, going to be a wrap up or the ultimate comparison between Osmo Pocket and can it live up to a DSLR quality video. On first thoughts, DSLRs are heavy rigs, though they give you cine quality kind of stuff, this is actually not that bad because this is a run and gun setup. So easeability of use, Osmo actually wins in that category over a big setup like I'm using right now. That's a $2,000, more or less a $2,000 setup with everything. Price point $359 doesn't get better than this, because $350 you do not need a heavy rig like this. Second thing, on autofocusing system, Osmo doesn't do a good job. It's still decent, but it will not do a good job, especially very controversial. Do not call me on this. I'm not xenophobic or anything, especially if you are having clothes which are darker in color. Okay, now my skin tone is a little bit darker, and because my skin tone is darker and this has contrast detect autofocus points, it always loses me. That is contrast detect AF, like there is nothing controversial about it, but contrast detect AF is like that. To pop in the sceneries, you have to wear brighter clothes. So in this brighter clothes, they will pop in all the time. Now Osmo, on the other hand, actually takes this to another level by just attaching a face tracking kind of on it. So apart from having contrast detect AF, it also has face detect. The face detection actually tries to compensate for the contrast detection, but it's nothing compared to what a DSLR has, which is a face detect AF. Face detect actually Face Detect AF actually analyzes the light that falls on you and your background at the same time. So that's how you will see that it's keeping me into focus, just because it has a lot of Face Detect autofocus. Slow motion, yes, this can do 120 FPS, while your regular cameras, if you are looking for 120 FPS, probably you have to spend around about $2,000 or $2,500 for that. But on a $350 perspective, this does autofocus, and it does 120 FPS, makes this to be one of the biggest cameras, or one of the very revolutionary camera of 2018-2019. And if you consider one more category, which is sound, again the Osmo Pocket wins by far a lot in sound quality, as because this dual microphone, which is on the top and one at the bottom, this dual microphone actually has something called intelligent analyzing of your voice, and that's how DJI's Osmo Pocket buffers up the sound and everything on their Osmo Pocket. So overall, DJI Osmo Pocket does beat in a lot of categories coming to a DSLR. But if you are selling, if you are doing photography, videography, and if you are selling stock footage, and that has been the only reason how I can do a lot of presentation, because I do a lot of stock footage and I sell a lot of stock footage, and whatever money I earn, I invest on this and I show you, so that the channel is unrigged or unbiased or anything. So well, that's pretty much it. And my next presentation, I'm going to show you guys how to autofocus properly using the Osmo Pocket. So if you like this video and this presentation, if you think that I had highlighted all the differences to make you decide whether you should stick with your old Canon heavy rigs or should move to this one, give me a big thumbs up, like, and do subscribe to this channel. But before you subscribe, also make sure you leave a comment below what you think. The Canon 80D, what would you choose? A Canon 80D with a $2,000 spend out, cash out, or you just select this one for $349. Main cardinal point, or main difference, I think, is autofocusing system, and I think people should focus on autofocus rather than focusing on anything else. So take care.